General greetings, I'm Mae Aljecera Angel May. This is our prelim group research in computer programming 2, and we make our own source to implement the bingo lineup or 4 in a row game. In this code, we initially import the scanner to facilitate the user and enhance the game interactively. We declared 2-day array that will serve as our board in our bingo lineup or 4 in a row game. It has a row size of 6 and a column size of 7, following the actual size of the actual bingo lineup game. The main method now presents a menu to the user with two options: to play the game or to exit. The user can input their choices 1 or 2. If the user chooses to play the game option 1, the play game method is called to start the gameplay loop. If the user chooses to exit the game option 2, the game loop variable is set to false and goodbye message is displayed. Secondly, we set up the necessary variables for our program, including utilizing match random to determine the player who makes the first move. The game involves two players, the users as a player 1 and the computer, a randomly chosen opponent using match random. To determine the first mover, we implement a boolean variable computer turn equals match random parentheses, which randomly assigns the first move to either the user or the computer. The flow of our code begins with displaying the main game board before any moves are made by either player. The game incorporates a winning condition based on aligning our 4 symbol either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally.
In our program, we implement methods for the board since it will continuously be displayed during the game. The value of the rows and columns in the board are stationary and unchanging. That is why we initialized it to have 6 rows and 7 columns. We also printed the numbers from 0 to 7 to help the players for the reference of each column and to decide where they want to put their mark. After that, we iterate through each column of the row and print the character bar from the board. And after printing the character, it will print another bar to separate the characters. When the printing of the characters in the rows are done, it prints new line to move to the next row and it prints another horizontal line to separate the row visually. So we have the methods for the board as display board to make our code more clear and readable.
And we implement while loop in our code to control the flow of our game. The first while in our code is to keep the game running until the spaces on the board are not filled, and we implement the if conditions inside the if conditions. Is for loop in the first if we generate computer turn using math.random that we initialize if the computer makes a move randomly within a range of the game board, and after that the mark of our computer move, which is the iterates through the row of the board from the bottom to top and find the empty space in that particular assigned to the computer opponent. And after the if condition, which the computer's turn, we also generate the player 1 turn, which is the user that we need use, else if it is the player's turn that the computer turn originally initialized through. That's why we use else that if the computer turn will be false, the player 1 will generate the same program as the computer turn. The changes are the player turn mark, we implement the player turn to X. And finally, the switching between the computer and the player's turn, that the computer turn is currently true means it's the computer turn, and if the computer turn is the currently false, it means it is the player's turn.
To check whether may winner na or wala, gumawa kami ng loop para magpatuloy ang game where habang ang return value ng winner variable is blank space and ang moves is hindi nag-exceed ng 42, magpapatuloy ito hanggang masatisfy yung nasa loob ng while loop. Every time na nag-iterate yung code, kine-check ni winner variable sa uli sa check winner method kung may nasasatisfy ba siya na block of code para malaman kung may nanalo na, and if wala, magre-return siya na ang value is blank space para umulit ang turns.
Good day everyone. I'm Anthony si Ambat. So let's start. So we use method again na static dahil hindi nagre-rely ito sa any instant variables of the class, and it's private because it's only within the class. So first, sa unang loop is nag-check for a horizontal wind condition and nag-iterate ito within each row of the board, and it iterates over each possible sa pag-start ng column index sa horizontal sequence of 4 pieces. Open for in call equal 0 semicolon call less than equal 7 negative 4 semicolon call plus plus tas close parenthesis 0, 1, 2, 3. Sa bawat pag-iterate, chine-check niya yung sequence of 4 pieces starting from the current position, board, row, call, and all 4 pieces, and lahat ng 4 pieces sa sequence is same symbol. Board, row, call, equal board, row, call, plus 1. Board, row, call, equal board, row, call, plus 2. And board, row, call, equal board, row, call, plus 3. And pag may nakitang sequence, the method will be immediately return the symbol of the winning player and nag-indicate ito na merong winner.
For the checking the winner vertically, and the outer loop is nag-iterate siya over each column of the board. The 4 in call equals 0 and call less than 7 call plus plus. And the inner loop is nagsusstart siya at row index for a vertical sequence of 4 pieces in the current column. 4 in row equals 0 and row less than or equal to 6 minus 4 row plus plus, and it iterates until na yung 4th row na galing sa baba, and to make sure that there's enough rows remaining to form a vertical sequence of 4 pieces. And sa loob naman ng nested loop is kine-check if a vertical sequence of 4 pieces of the same symbols is exist in the current column, and it checks that the current cell board row call is non-empty. Board row call is not equal to empty to make sure na valid yung starting point para sa winning condition. Then para naman sa 4 consecutive cells in the same column, dito natin makikita ito, the board row call is equal to board row plus 1 call, and board row call equals to board row plus 2 call, and board row call equals to board row plus 3 and call na nagko-contain ng same symbol. And if there's a winning found or winning sequence na nakita dun sa board na yon, the method will automatically returns the symbol for a winning player, the board row call. And if there's no winning condition found, the method returns to a blank value, and that's the winning condition for a vertical ball.
So let's break down to the diagonal ascending check in the check winner method. So for the outer loop, it iterates over the rows of the board starting from the 4th row or the index 3 and going up to the last row or the index 5. This is because we need at least 4 consecutive cells to check for a win diagonally. And for the inner loop, it iterates over the columns of the board but only up to the 4th column from the end. This is because we need at least 4 consecutive cells horizontally for a diagonal ascending win check. And for the checking consecutive cells, So inside the nested loops, the program checks if the current cell or the board index row and index call is not empty and if it's the same as the next three cells diagonally above and to the right of it. So the conditions board index row index call equals board index row minus 1 index call plus 1 index call equals index row minus 2 index call plus 2 and board index call plus 3 ensure that there are 4 consecutive tokens of the same type diagonally ascending. So if such a sequence is found, the token in the current cell, the board index row index call is returned, indicating the winning player. So diagonally ascending means moving upwards and towards the right on the game board. So for each cell, the program checks the cell itself and the three cells diagonally above and to the right of it to see if they form a winning consequence or the sequence. In summary, diagonal ascending check iterates through diagonally above and to the right of it to see if there are 4 consecutive tokens of the same type in the ascending diagonal direction. If such a sequence is found, it indicates a win for a corresponding player.
To explain the descending diagonal check, the first thing we need to do is we need to iterate through the rows. So that's the outer loop iterates through rows 0 to 2 inclusive. These rows are chosen because for a descending diagonal line, you need at least 4 rows to form a line. And then we iterate through the columns. The inner loop iterates through columns 0 to 3. And these columns are chosen because for a descending diagonal line, you need at least 4 columns to form a line. And then checking for consecutive tokens for each position of row and call, the code checks the current position is not empty, and if the token at the current position is the same as the token in the next 3 positions diagonally. The next 3 positions are checked by adding 1 to the row index and 1 to the column index in each step. And the win condition, if all 4 tokens are the same, the method returns the winning token, indicating that the player has won the game.